So the secret to this really amazing recipe is we're going to make vegetarian schmaltz. If you are more concerned about cholesterol and also time and finding chicken skins to render, then this vegetarian version is really cool because it uses any non-dairy butter. And we are using the aromatics that you would find in chicken soup. So we have onions, carrots, celery, bay leaf, some thyme, some garlic, some allspice, 1 pound of non-dairy buttery sticks. So I'm just going to throw everything in here, our onions, our carrots, our celery, our bay leaf, some garlic that I smashed. And basically this is going to simmer for about 2 hours. All right, so our schmaltz is ready. This has been cooking for about 2 hours. You can see that it's all melted and all the veggies in there are nice and soft and beautiful. I'm going to strain it now. We're gonna let it cool down and then we're gonna use it to make our matzo balls. Jay, can I ask you how you like your matzo balls? How do you prefer your balls?
I want mine not like the giant fluffy ones that fall apart.
Yeah.
Like a little firmness.
A little firm ball.
A little firm
Yeah,
ball.
I can get into that. These balls are actually super light and airy and fluffy. And I'm not gonna make them too big, so when we serve them, we'll have like maybe 2 or 3. So matzah meal is basically ground matzah. I'm using 6 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon of salt, black pepper, and then some cinnamon. Now cinnamon is kind of like not traditional, but I'm putting just a little bit here and it's gonna give just a little hint of sweetness, but it's just a beautiful addition to matzo balls. And we're gonna also put 2 eggs in here, crack them over. It's super easy because all of that's gonna get mixed together. That's it. I mean, how simple is that? Like, I don't understand why people are using boxed matzo balls. It's just as many steps you have to make, and these are so much better, and they're homemade, and I mean, you get to like boast that you made your matzo balls from scratch. So, time to add our fat. Look at this beautiful schmaltz, and you can see how nice and velvety this is. It's good stuff. So we're gonna mix all of this together. And it seems like a lot of fat, but good matzo balls needs all of that in order to grow into these beautiful balls that they're going to become. I have been baking balls actually a pretty long time. I've always liked to watch my grandmother make them, and then my mom. And really, my mom is not a passionate cook, to say the least, but her matzo balls are like the bomb. So she would make those, and I would always love to taste the batter because I think it's delicious. But yeah, we never had boxed matzo balls at home. It is going to set in the fridge for a little bit, so I'm going to add like a tablespoon of water. And this is totally optional. Dill, my grandmother actually didn't use fresh dill, but I like the flavor of this. And it also gives some beautiful green specks. So you can see the consistency. It's kind of thick, but it's very pliable. This is going to go into the fridge for at least half an hour. I often do it overnight, so if you have a lot of guests coming over for Passover, just make it the day before, and then all you have to do the next day is roll them up and cook them. Okay, so we took our matzo ball mixture out of the fridge, and you can see it's nice and firm. And we are going to start rolling them now into balls. Now, If you need to measure, it's going to be about 1 tablespoon, so it's not a very big ball, but they are going to expand when we cook them. So I just do it by hand, kind of eyeball it. I also like how it feels. I have a thing with like mushy things.
Satisfying.
Oh, it's so satisfying. You see just a small little ball. Try and avoid the temptation to make them bigger than this because they're going to take longer to cook, and also we are trying to get 12 out of this. So if you make them bigger, they're going to be a lot bigger and you're not going to have as many. Okay, so we finished rolling our matzo balls. I actually managed to stretch 14 out of them. If you want to use a scale to be like precise, you can do that, but you know, Passover, people by this time have had like, 2 whole glasses of wine. No one's gonna notice if they're not exactly the same size. Next thing we're going to do is we're gonna cook them. Now, I have something to say about this. Some people, so I hear, cook their matzo balls in their soup. Now, I'm trying to like wrap my head around it. Would you cook your pasta in your soup? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's gonna make your soup cloudy. And yes, there is some flavor there, but this is why we're gonna salt our water. But you know, you've slaved over making the perfect chicken soup. Don't spoil it with cooking the matzo balls in it, seriously. We're just gonna cook them on in a separate pot that has about 5 quarts of water. The most important thing is you gotta salt this. Now, if you don't salt this enough, the water is gonna kind of pull the salt from your matzo balls and they're gonna be a little bland. So you wanna go a little heavier on the salt and literally taste the water until they feel they're salty, and then you know you're good to go. So I'm gonna start with probably about 3 tablespoons. If it just tastes like water, then you need more salt. All right, so I'm ready to add them in, and I'm just gonna do it ever so gently. Just a little drop there. And the water is still on high because as we put them in, they're cold, so we don't want the temperature to go down too much. So this is gonna keep this nice and boiling. And this stays covered. You cannot open it. Do not be tempted because it's gonna mess with the texture. So keep it on, let it simmer on low heat for about 45 minutes, and then we're gonna go back and see where they're at. But they're gonna cook anything between 45 to 60 minutes. Yes, that's the sound of the golden buzzer right there. All right, our matzo balls are ready. They look beautiful, like pillowy, soft, gorgeous. So I'm just going to plate them here. Just bring them up really, really gently so they don't break. Because at this point they are very fragile. I'm just gonna spoon over chicken broth. All right, so one last thing before we taste it. I'm just going to sprinkle some flaky sea salt. Oh my God, look how soft this is. Look at this texture. It's like pillowy. These matzo balls are so good. They're soft and pillowy, and they have this beautiful flavor, and they're just amazing with the chicken soup. It reminds me of my grandmother.